serials. I was an actor in his serials. And then I branched off into direction and he branched off into music composing. And then when I made Dil Mange More and Aksar, he composed music for both the films. So it's after a very long time that Himesh called me and asked me to be associated with him on a project that he wanted to make, on a film that he wanted to make. And he told me the story about a mystery set in the 1960s, the film industry of the 1960s. And I thought that was a very great premise to have a film, because that was the most glamorous, the most larger than life, the most colorful and the most musical era of the Hindi films. And to get all those characters back, to get that atmosphere back and to recreate the entire thing was very fascinating. And that's how I said yes to the Xpose, because I was making films which were slightly off the mainstream track, like Staying Alive, Red Alert, Me Sindhutai Sabkal, which got me 4 national awards. So after that I had got into very serious cinema. So this was a nice diversion and reunion with my old friend Himesh Reshammiya. So that's how the whole thing started, and then we took it forward from there. And today what you see as the Xpose is what started about 6 or 7 months back. See, we were very clear that this film had to have a very correct budget and a correct schedule. When I first made the schedule, because Himesh had told me that this was to be made in a budget of 9 crores, and to show the 1960s, the splendor, the glamour, the gaiety of the 1960s, 9 crores was not a very, what one would say, not sufficient amount. But I had to design the film in 9 crores. So when I made the schedule of the film, the shooting, the filming schedule of the film, it came to 39 days. And Himesh was quite surprised as to how I could calculate a 39-day schedule. It's not 40 or 45. Why is it 39? Why is it an odd number? But then I had calculated it after reading every scene and timing every scene. So the entire scheduling was very, very accurate, and we finished it in 39 days. So that's how we managed to make this film in 39 days, 9 crores, and give it a profit on table even before the film was released. No, you see, a film of this kind which is made in 9 crores and then you spend 6 crores on publicity, so it's a 15 crore film. The recoveries on this, forget the theatrical, the recoveries on this, you have 8.5 crores from satellite, you have another 2 crores from home video and overseas and other ancillary channels. Then you have another 4 crores from music. So that itself comes to about 15 crores. So you have covered your entire cost on table. So all the theatrical that has come into, let's say, it's touched 22, 23 crores by the end of the second week, and we are now going into the third week. So if you take an overall lifetime of 25 crores for the film, you end up with a 10 crore profit on a film like The Xpose, which I think is puts it in the blockbuster league. Like I said, the USP of the film is the premise and the setting of the film. The 1960s is an era that has not been touched by Indian cinema before. It has not been explored by Indian cinema before. And like I said, it's the most nostalgic and the most larger than life era we have ever witnessed. Besides that, Himesh Reshammiya you will see in an absolutely new avatar, in a new role, in a new a totally new dimension and a totally new personality. He has lost 20 kilos from his last film, which was Radio, and he's chiseled himself. He's got a jaw-dropping look, a terrific jawline. So what you see today is a Himesh Reshammiya you've never seen before. Himesh Reshammiya in paying a tribute to Rajkumar. the great iconic Rajkumar. So I think these are the highlights of the film, which is in a way a big tribute to the 1960s, a big nostalgic trip down memory lane for the kind of music that Himesh has composed for the film, which is retro in one sense, at the same time appeals to a generation of today. And the entire styling, look and colors which we have brought out, because today when an audience goes into the cinemas to watch a movie for 200 and 300 rupees, he wants production value, and I think the production values of the film are fabulous. The role of Rajkumar, that is Ravi Kumar in the film, suited Himesh to a T because it had to show a lot of attitude, and Himesh carried himself very correctly in a role like this. And like I said, it's a different Himesh Reshammiya you see. Himesh played the romantic hero before. He's played a funny role in Khiladi 786, but he's never played an eccentric star with an attitude. And that is where I think Himesh has totally remodeled himself and done a total makeover on himself and evolved as an actor. Now he's gone miles ahead of his last film. And today suddenly the audience is surprised to see Himesh Reshammiya the actor. Himesh was very excited when I told him that we need to do a workshop at least 4 months before we start the film. Not just with Himesh, the entire cast. Even seasoned actors like Irfan and Adil Hussain, all of them took part in the workshop, and the interaction of Himesh with such seasoned actors made him a much better and a more cued-in actor than before. So I think that is what, we worked like theatre, we worked with the discipline of theatre. Everyone knew the scripts and the lines before they entered the shooting floor. And that is what made all the difference to this film, because this was done like an absolute schoolboy's workshop, where everybody did a lot of exercises and a lot of rehearsals before we went on set. And that made all the difference to Himesh. From being a good actor to being a fabulous character. See, the whole concept of the workshop was started when I started doing films like Staying Alive, Red Alert and Me Sindhutai Sabka, because those films required workshops. Those films required actors to get into the skin of the character. And we couldn't go on the sets without proper preparation. So I carried forward my theatre discipline and my workshop schedule to the Xpose, and that is how a lot of actors, raw actors like even Zoya Akhtar and Sonali Raut, who were being introduced in the film, they also benefited from the workshop. I still have my roots in theatre. There is a play called Blame It on Yashraj, which is the most successful play on the theatre circuit these days. And I also keep in touch with acting, of course. I've done a pivotal role in my own film, The Xpose, and I've done another pivotal role in Kamal Haasan's Vishwarupam 2, which is about to be released somewhere in the second half of this year. So whenever I get good roles or roles that excite me, I of course keep in touch with my acting career. Going back to my roots, there's a very interesting film that's coming up based on the education system. And this film is called The Rough Book, and it's being produced by Akash Chaudhary, who runs a nationwide chain of institutes called the Akash Institutes, which is a very high-profile educational institutional chain. And this is a film that again touches on something that has not been dealt with in Hindi cinema or Indian cinema before, very rarely done, the education system. And the Rough Book is my next film.